GSL.
Welcome back to the GSL Code A, and welcome back to you, Kaldor. I've missed you while you've been gone, man.
Missed you too, Sunshine. How's it going?
It's going great. I'm really looking forward to casting the rest of the matches today. We had some matches earlier already, but we are back now on camera. We're on the regular stream. If you want to catch those matches, make sure you get the premium service.
The most important thing, we have new shirts.
We have new shirts.
The new season of Code A has started.
I like these shirts.
I'm like,
I got I got a haircut, and there was like a little bit of an experiment on my hair today or something. Like
it was weird.
It was a little bit different than I expected.
He walked in the studio earlier, and I looked at him and was like, "What the hell did what happened?" I was like, "What is that?"
I'm looking at the preview screen now, and you can't quite see it, but it doesn't do justice what has been done to my hair. But
as soon as you have the microphone on, it's a little bit different. It's more like normal, but early on, it was like so weird for a second. But I can't decide what we currently look like, because usually when we go to cast for Code A or GSTL or whatever, we just get in our suits and our shirts and we have our ties and everything, and then I'll look in the mirror, I'm like, yeah, this looks like I'm going to broadcast now. But today, I looked in the mirror, I was like, let's go clubbing, son. I was like, this is I like it. I like it.
I like it
today for the first time.
It feels relaxing. It feels nice. I enjoy it. I mean, I know for you, even the XL was not relaxing enough, but
that was so funny. They had to use, how do you call them, those needle thingies in order to Korean
the
XL
pins.
is the pins. Korean XL is apparently not used to, well,
they need a KXL, man, for you. That's what they need. You could just call it size K.
Oh, man.
Now, guys, don't watch this if you didn't watch, if you don't want to be spoiled, because here are the results from earlier today. Here's who played. It was, of course, Hero versus G2, 4GG versus the best. Looks like he changed his ID, by the way, back to 4GG.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we had the new Quantic player with the STC, well, that new, against TSL Punisher and Gumiho against I'm Ready. And guys, it feels so good to be back in Korea and to actually cast the GSL again. But I have to admit that I had...
안녕하세요. 저는 FX의 테란 구미호. 요새 저희 팀이 슬럼프라 이기는 모습을 많이 못 보여드렸는데 오늘 Code 48강을 기점으로 승리하는 모습 많이 보여드리고 특히 팀리그에서 좋은 모습 보여드릴 테니까 기대 많이 해주세요.
네, 안녕하세요. 퀀틱 게이밍 소속의 테란 프로게이머 최현식입니다. 오늘 낮 경기에서 TSL 신인 선수와 경기를 해서 비교적 쉽게 2대0으로 이겼는데요. 지난 32강 경기력이 안 좋게 떨어진 만큼 이번에는 꼭 열심히 준비해서 달라진 모습으로 코드에서 꼭 복귀하도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Alright, so here are our final results. Hero, 4GG, STC, and Gumiho all advancing over their opponents.
Yeah, exactly. Especially the Terrans did quite well. We had 2 TVTs, but also Gumiho, who faced Ready, was able to advance. And in the first game, he didn't look all that great. He made a few mistakes, and Ready took the game, but he was able to come back and secure
STC,
victory.
man, he looked so dominant against Punisher. And I mean, in that interview, he sounded confident, but he looked really dominant in his games.
And these are the games that we are going to see in just a few minutes. I'm really excited. MMA against HongUn is going to be a good one. Puzzle against Seal. I'm so looking forward, especially to our 3 Zergs performing today. With GOMTV, we have a former champion up against MVP Monster.
Look at
a Zerg player who has caused a lot of upsets, especially when you remember how he was able to shoot MC down to Code B.
Look at just look at the left and the right. The left side is full of big names, champions, runners-up, and the players on the right side are all either old schoolers like HongUn, or they haven't really proven themselves in the individual league. They're all Code B going up to face up and down players, and all of the players they're facing have excellent results in the past. So our first match, MMA against HongUn. HongUn makes his great return here, and he did it by Blink Stalker all-inning his opponents in the Code A qualifiers. We cast those games, and he looked great. I mean, he did his usual Blink Stalker play, but he looked good.
And let's just be frank, MMA had a huge amount of trouble lately. It's not like the guy is suddenly gone like bad, but let's say he underperformed a little bit. he did not really live up to the expectation that we all had when he was playing the last few matches in the GSL. So right now he's in the round of 48 of Code A, and he has to prove himself here.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, if he loses here, he's out. These are our danger days, man.
Can you actually picture a GSL where MMA is in Code B? I'm like, wow, the thought alone just blows me away.
I have to think back to before he was in Code A for that to happen, and it's pretty hard to think back to those times and remember that.
I would really like to know how nervous he is right now, because it's not like he's facing an opponent that he can't beat, but just the knowledge that if he loses today...
It's HongUn, man! It's the Sith Lord Protoss! Look at him! He doesn't care about anything, man. He will just destroy you. He doesn't care about your family. He doesn't care about your friends. He doesn't care about your team. He doesn't even have a team, okay? He's the solo. He is the HongUn, and I cannot wait to see what he's going to do against MMA.
All right, you
I
convinced
could not be more excited, man. And it's time. We're going to start right now. MMA against HongUn here at the GSL Code A with Calder and Wolf.
And we are good to go. The GSL Code A round of 48 with Carl and Wolf. Into the bottom right of the map, we have our Terran player starting for the Slayers team. It is none other than
Slayers MMA.
That was anticlimactic.
No, a little bit.
Street Fighter voice, you have to definitely do a better job later on.
Now his opponent up here at the top right, the first Protoss to ever make it to the round of 4 in the GSL ever. His idea is HongUn, first player to ever make a carrier in the GSL, as well as the first player to ever use carriers as part of his main strategy.
I'm really excited about these games. All those games today are actually really, really amazing. All 4 that we cast. We have a lot of Zerg participation here, but now the first game with Protoss versus Terran. And on Antigua, a map that I really like for this matchup. You can just use a lot of different strategies, and it's one of the consistent maps in the map pools. I really like that. It's a great map. I love to cast it.
You know, I feel like there are 2 matchups where there's so many different build orders possible and so many build orders that are popular. Like, for example, in TVT and in PVT, those are the 2 matches I'm talking about. There's so many different build orders that both races can do and will do. It's a very changing matchup. Right now, I would say that 1 Rax Expand is by far the most common for Terrans, but there's so many different builds that Protoss can do, and that's why I love this matchup specifically, because he might Nexus first, he might 1-gate, he might skip gas, he might skip core, he might just do it off of 1 Stalker, he might 3-gate you, he could even Void Ray all in. I mean, there's so many different things that HongUn can do here.
We already have the scouting now in the main base of MMA, and HongUn is just getting a quick idea of what exactly is going on. He sees there's no gas so far, he only has 1 barracks. So let's see what MMA is going to do here. For MMA, there's a lot on the line now. He has to prove himself, he wants to advance, he wants to get back into Code S. And of course, in the round of 48, there's always the danger of dropping down to Code B, something that he definitely wants to avoid. And talking about the Slayers players, there's actually one thing that really amazed me at MLG. When Alicia had this amazing run, we casted... Well, actually, we didn't cast the games at the Code A qualifier, but we followed his run through the grid, and he fell short. He did not qualify for Code A, and suddenly he turns up at MLG, and he defeats Marine King, he defeats Sarsi. He has this amazing performance, and it was so funny to see him just talk in an interview about how he played and that he focused on the game. 1 game at a time, right? And then suddenly he was like, yeah, and before I knew it, I was actually in the final.
Oh, Calder, look at this probe movement. It's going up to the top right. You know what that means? Void Rail in 100%. And he puts a pylon down. He's going to do a Void Rail in. He took the second gas. His probe's over there. When I saw that probe move off the watchtower, man, I knew one thing. I knew this is HongUn. He and I think alike. And I feel like this is going to be a Void Rail in. 100%. Look at the gas timing here. Rise of Pylon finishes at 136. Just a few more. And Stargate.
There's the Stargate. On the other hand, we have MMA not going for the straight transition into double refinery. He starts with the barracks first before he takes his gas. So he will definitely have the capability of getting a lot of Marines. And it's going to be very interesting to see how well he's going to defend against this. With the number of the Marines he has already out on the map, if he keeps producing Marines, then he should have enough to deal with the Void Ray.
Yeah, it's going to all come down to micro. And you know, this is actually one of my least favorite maps to do Void Rail-ins because of the second ramp and the way that the bunker plays out there. To attack this correctly, you have to make sure you can constantly hit your opponent's units. You can't pick off depots.
don't sell yourself short here. You, from what you told me on Code A and in between games, you basically cheese the ladder up and down 6 ways or something.
I do, man. I do it on this map occasionally, but this is a tough map for it, but it's the map he's not going to expect on. But he does not correctly hide that he has no Nexus. This is a huge mistake because his opponent has already seen double gas. Now he may even add an engineering bay, which can make this even more difficult to pull off. He sees the gates as well. This is really bad for HongUn. He's already got a bunker going up. Now, what he may do is make a pylon next to his opponent's main base to try to warp units onto the high ground to get into an interesting position where he's got stalkers on the high ground and on the low ground firing. But this is not going to be easy to do. In fact, I think with this bunker up, with the marine production that you already mentioned, MMA is going to have very little chance of dying here.
MMA is currently producing Marauders. He expects something completely different here, and it's really a little bit odd to see. He saw that there's no expansion. He knows there's going to be some kind of one-base play coming up, but he does not know what exactly he has to face. It could also be like a proxy...
Is he going to see that void ray? He
yes,
will!
He does. But he could also have been a proxy robotics with an immortal push, so that's what he's preparing for right now.
And he could, you know, it could be anything, and he is... He's going to have to protect this tech lab, that's for sure.
Oh, yes, he does.
He's not repairing it yet. There he goes. He's going to be very careful here. I like the positioning. He's made mostly Zealots, which indicates that he's going to be using these Void Rays to try to break the bunkers rather than try to pick Marines off. He's charging them up right now. With one more round of Warp-ins, he may be able to target the bunker down. This is such a precarious position.
He's nearly supply blocked, and Stim is going to be crucial here. MMA is trying to get Stim. He's trying to do some damage to the Void Ray. Whoa!
A huge mistake. You never, ever want to do that. He's going to actually charge forward, attacking the bunker now. The Void Ray was too far away. The repair goes off. There's not enough SCVs, however, but I think that MMA will hold. He's got a second bunker coming up here.
He has everything he needs. The first Void Ray is down, and just look at Stim. It's halfway done. He needs to protect the tech lab, though. If the tech lab with Stim actually dies, that would be bad news. Where are the SCVs?
And why is he attacking with this Void Ray right now? He cannot make this work successfully. This is too risky. If he loses that Void Ray, the entire attack ends. He will lose his vision.
He has 2 Void Rays right now. He's chrono boosting the third. 28 SCVs to 24 probes. His advantage in economy for MMA. And he's trying to chase down another Void Ray.
This is another fake.
Escapes, but here comes the attack. The first bunker is up. The second one is done.
And he targets the first one down. The second one is being targeted as well. The Void Rays doing some extra damage here. But HongUn loses too many units.
And Wolf, bad news for the Protoss. We have double upgrades nearly completed. Stim and Combat Shield are about to be done. And this is bad news for HongUn.
Really, really bad news indeed. He's going to go for another final attack. The bunkers are not ready, but there's so many units here. I think he holds no matter what. There's way too many. A great force field traps some Marines. But he does not have enough.
It does not matter. That's just way too much DPS, especially now with Stim ready. And he does not Stim too early. He just waits. He's very patient about it. MMA waits exactly for the right moment. Just look how careful and patiently he's approaching this. I love it.
He's going to get one Void Ray for sure.
Without Stim.
Yep. Very careful.
He knows exactly without the Medivacs, he needs to be very, very careful when he uses Stim.
Yeah, he knows that this game is essentially won. There's no way HongUn can break him. He doesn't even have to Stim here, but he will.
It's his to lose. He uses the Stim and he chases them down. Another Void Ray is about to die. He takes down the Sentry as well. And this is it. HongUn is about to die here. Void Ray number 3 bites the dust. And HongUn, GG!
HongUn Prime, losing his Prime tag, coming back. And you know what? He's not in his Prime right now, but MMA held that no problem. And this is the type of build that you expect from HongUn. He checked every different location except the correct one, but even so, he double-checked with his SCV, saw double gases, came in a second time, saw the triple gates, made bunkers, did not hesitate. He made both Marauders and Marines consistently after that, and he played well. I'm disappointed in several things by HongUn as an avid Void Ray all-inner.
The thing is, why did he show it so early?
Why
there was no need to do it.
Why do you make... Normally when you Void Ray all-in correctly, you don't make more than one Void Ray. You make mostly Stalkers, not mostly Zealots. His plan clearly was to try to bait the units up to the top of the ramp, then attack with his Zealots while they were distracted. However, the way he executed it, he lost his first Void Ray unnecessarily, then he lost a second one, killing the tech lab with the tech lab that far away is never something he was going to be able to do. Never, ever in a million years. It's too risky. I can't believe he thought he could get away with it.
He was just not careful enough with his Void Ray and how he executed it. Both Void Rays, he actually lost two Marines at a time where he could not afford to lose them. He needed to wait until he had at least 3, and then he has suddenly the firepower where he can make it work, especially as long as Stim is not done. But moving in with the first Void Ray, just for an example, what do you think he could achieve with that? There was not a lot. He tried to lure him up into the base, okay, but at the same time there were enough units on the ground. The tech lab was something that he was never able to actually threaten with only one Void Ray. So showing it this early, a bit of a mistake. I think it might have been triggered by the scout of MMA, the fact that he got in with the SCV and scouted everything, knew about the double gas and knew there was no expansion.
Well, he even saw the Void Ray with his SCV when he moved down the ramp as well. So he felt like he had to do something. Maybe I really think it was kind of a bait and switch plan, but I think this is not the map to Void Ray all in on. And I think in the next game he's going to show us a macro game. I've seen macro games from HongUn on Entombed a ton of times. In fact, he did them in the qualifiers as well.
Entombed is just a map where we see a lot of medivac timings. Let's see what those two have up their sleeves in game number 2, HongUn against MMA.